Dude, what the hell is this guy doing? Not only did Trump post on Truth Social at 11:06 p.m. last night, calling Prime Minister Trudeau of the country of Canada Governor Trudeau of the great state of Canada. This is only a few days after Trudeau was laughing nervously in Mar-a-Lago as Trump said, maybe Canada should be the 51st state. We'll come back to that, but I want to reverse a few days back when Trump posted perhaps the dumbest thing that a former president or a president-elect or maybe any politician in America has ever posted. Seriously, just listen to this. He said, the Democrats are fighting hard to get rid of the popular vote in future elections. They want all future presidential elections to be based exclusively on the Electoral College. Say it ain't so. Not the Electoral College. Not the thing that has decided every single election since the inception of America. I mean, that is how it has always occurred. He said they want all future presidential elections to be based exclusively on the Electoral College. Just let that sink in. The president-elect doesn't know the difference between the popular vote and the Electoral College, or he either dictated it wrong to the person who types out his tweets. That might be even worse because it shows the entire team is so incompetent that they left this up for multiple days, or Donald Trump just lacks the fundamental understanding of our civics and really does think that elections are based on the popular vote. I can't tell which one is worse, but here's a quick civics lesson. The popular vote, quite literally, is a thing Democrats want to expand. We've been talking about that for a while, because keep in mind, Trump lost the popular vote in 2016, but won the Electoral College. Maybe that's why he still says 2016 was stolen. I don't know what he's getting at here. I think he actually just lacks a fundamental understanding of how America works. It's insane. This is basic American civics, or is he trying to trick people like he always is on Truth Social? Either way, it's disgusting. And that brings me to this story that came out today. We're going to talk about the Justin Trudeau piece, but you guys know that I currently live in Chicago. I grew up in Northwest Indiana, and then when I was 20, I went to Chicago for school. I put college on pause, but I live in Chicago to pursue media, so when I saw this headline, I knew I had to talk about it. Chicago to be ground zero for mass deportations, Trump border czar tells Illinois Republicans. Tom Homan made his remarks at a Northwest Side GOP holiday party. He also warned Mayor Brandon Johnson about the deportation plan, saying, quote, if he doesn't want to help, get the hell out of the way. It's going to get intense because Tom Homan has threatened a few things. He has hinted at arresting Democratic mayors, Democratic governors. He has hinted at creating a sort of red state militia with the National Guards from multiple red states and forcefully taking those red state militias into blue state cities or blue cities to try to deport immigrants en masse, which sounds like a recipe for a civil war. President-elect Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, came to Chicago on Monday to implore Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker to, quote, come to the table and negotiate with him over a mass deportation plan that he declared would start right here. I was out of town in DC yesterday, but I will do everything I can to relentlessly cover what's happening on the ground and make sure I'm bringing attention and accountability to the institutions that Tom Homan is now at the head of. So putting that aside, we will talk about that more in future videos. The main tweet or the main Truth Social post that I wanted to talk about this video was this. Donald Trump posted last night at 11:06 p.m. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we can continue our in-depth talk about tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all. DJT. I'm not joking when I already say I miss President Biden's steady hand of leadership. Meanwhile, we have Donald Trump's hand doing whatever the hell this is, yanking it to the side. Him and Macron had like 3 handshake matches yesterday, and even Macron at some point is like, dude, Trump is trying so hard here to act tough, so incredibly hard, and that's the thing he's doing with Trudeau as well. He said it was a pleasure to have dinner with the Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. He's trying to demean Trudeau, act like Trudeau is beneath him, or act like Canada is simply an extension of the United States when they're one of our largest trading partners and they're our next door neighbor. But also, there's this pattern that I've noticed with Donald Trump where he will act tough around Macron. He'll yank around Angela Merkel, whoever the hell he wants, Justin Trudeau. All of our Western leaders are basically put down by Trump all the time. Meanwhile, he's always saying, I got along really well with Kim Jong-un. Yeah, Xi Jinping and I wrote love letters. Vladimir Putin's not actually that bad. He's always very charitable to our adversaries while being as adversarial as possible to our allies. It's completely backwards, and this just comes a week after Trudeau came down to Mar-a-Lago. He made his way down to Mar-a-Lago simply because Trump threatened tariffs, as he is doing here, and Trump kept making jokes about Canada becoming the 51st state. And apparently Trudeau laughed nervously, and somebody else pointed out, oh, Canada would be a liberal state. And then Trump said, governor does sound better than prime minister. So it's not just an embarrassing display of ignorance right here, it's a diplomatic train wreck. It's an erosion of diplomacy. Canada is one of our closest allies. I don't just mean literally on the map, I mean like Canada is one of our closest trading partners, and treating its leader as a subordinate in the US political hierarchy is insulting to them. It's a total collapse of the diplomacy that the diplomatic relations that we've built up for decades, and that Biden has worked to strengthen, especially with NATO. I mean, all of our NATO allies are probably like scratching their heads. Am I next? Is he going to put me down next? And honestly, I'm already starting to miss Biden's steady hand on the world stage. I mean, yes, I do have qualms with the way that he handled Ukraine. I think he should have been stronger right off the bat. He was an amazing, amazing domestic president. Even despite that tiny disagreement, I think President Biden kept this steady hand on global relations throughout the past 4 years. Relationships were built on trust, not these like spectacular delusions of grandeur. And Trump's gaffes like this undermine decades of goodwill. This isn't even a gaffe. This is an intentional slicing of a relationship that undermines, again, decades of goodwill and just paints US as uninformed, arrogant, and a little bit unhinged, to be honest. It paints the US not in a good light. So again, the contrast between Trump's form of leadership and Biden's form of leadership, or even Obama's, or what Kamala's would have looked like, is just night and day. Trump's ignorance isn't embarrassing. It's actively harmful to our credibility on the world stage, to stability, to the relationships that we built with these allies. And posts like these remind us that leadership isn't about theatrics or chaos. It's kind of about being quiet. Like when an administration isn't in the headlines all the time, that's actually a good thing. When Biden and Blinken are working behind the scenes on negotiations, that's solid. When Trump is doing his negotiations out in the public, like that is a perfect difference right there. Every single negotiation that Trump has done since he won the presidency has been this public display of trying to own the other person with tariffs and forcing them to come to Mar-a-Lago and getting Scheinbaum on a phone call. But Biden's negotiations were behind closed doors. And I guess that's maybe why we lost the election and we need to be more loud about it. But Biden passed the IRA. He got a bunch of Republicans to sign on to multiple bills because he's a good leader. Now, getting policy passed and marketing that policy to the American people, those are two different skills. Biden is really good at getting policy passed, but it doesn't seem like he was able to market it properly. And we saw that in exit polling. We saw that most people don't even know anything about these bills. And now Trump will be able to take credit for these infrastructure projects. But Donald Trump, admittedly, is decent at marketing projects that he never even touched or had a hand in. I mean, he won the election based on tricking many Americans that he was going to fight for them despite not naming a single policy the entire time. He literally said he has concepts of a policy, but somehow it worked. So I'll leave it at that. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.